Good morning.
So we'll have you here.
Sit.
They're going to just come and do a quick minute of photographs. They're going to come and just do a quick minute of photographs. Right now. And you will recognize two youth leaders who were with us in Dharmasala, Victoria and Sakina.
This room?
Yeah, right here.
Oh, yes. Right.
And these are, yeah.
Kenya.
Yeah, Victoria.
How are you?
Victoria.
Nigeria.
Since our meeting, what kind of activities you are getting? I'm very much impressed with the youth from this troubled area. Really. Wonderful. Please.
And Michael Gerson is with us as well.
As you suggested, I think at the beginning, because of this, very serious tragedy. Oh, Kasa, Sasimin, Orlando. So let us some silent prayer. Okay. Thank you. Although one Buddhist monk who quite skeptical about the effect of prayer, right? The real change or effect come through action. Then, while we carry some serious action continuously, in spite of some difficulties, a lot of obstacles, without losing our determination, our courage, make effort, then on top of that, some prayer is okay, no harm. Otherwise, without action, just to sit and prayer. I'm quite skeptical. Skeptical. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Holiness. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this morning. We are gathered with a heavy heart after this weekend's events, but with a conviction that the mission and the vision of a world without violent conflict is more important than ever. My name is Nancy Lindborg. I'm the president of the United States Institute of Peace. USIP was founded by Congress 30 years ago with the vision of a world without violent conflict and dedicated to the proposition that peace is possible, that it's practical, and that it is absolutely essential for our global security. And we are very honored to have been able to work in partnership with you, Your Holiness, with bringing a group of 28 youth leaders from 13 different countries that are affected by conflict to a dialogue in Dharmasala with Your Holiness, His Holiness, to talk about what are the ways to maintain, to build, to find the inner peace and compassion, to keep that conviction of peace building going, even as you live and work in a troubled world. And I think the events in Orlando have underscored for us how important that is globally. Thank you for joining us this morning. And what I'd like to do before asking you to make a few comments is show a quick video, if I might, that gives everybody a sense of those who participated in the dialogue in Dharmasala and the importance of that kind of journey to find the inner peace that enables one to go forward. So if we could show the video.
So I got nominated and I read the word Dalai Lama and everything. I was like, okay, this is a junk mail. Let's just ignore it.
This program is different from any I've ever seen. An extraordinary moment where 28 youth leaders from conflict zones around the world came together to be mentored by the Dalai Lama in how change happens.
I want to learn how to forgive and I want to learn how to love.
So I was shaking for about 15 minutes or maybe more, and when His Holiness walked in, it was just a great moment.
When His Holiness entered the hall, I just feel like a dream.
Be optimistic. So no matter how difficult it is, you see, we should be more optimistic sort of attitude.
Here were a bunch of young people who had experienced deep tragedy and lived in regions of conflict, and they chose to use that energy, that conflict, that fear for their own life, and turn it into something incredibly constructive.
In Tunisia, we are facing an identity crisis, and young people are not hopeful anymore.
Actually, violence is signs of weakness. Forgiveness is signs of strength.
How can we utilize this good friendship or trust between people and religious leaders like you to bring peace between the tribes in my country?
Now should be active in the well-being of the society.
I feel empowered that the Dalai Lama was really interested in youth.
What he said was how encouraged he was by meeting with these young people.
Not only His Holiness, but also the participants from this program, they all inspire me. They risk their life for their peace-building works.
After meeting His Holiness, this guy gave a kind of energy that it's as we should build our country. It's as we should make the changes from inside.
What you have here is a group of determined, passionate, committed, action-oriented leaders who are building peace, who have been deeply inspired by our 2 days.
I really got a lot of sort of a source of encouragement. So very, very encouraging.
Now I feel like my soul and my spirit is enriched.
He put so much confidence in us that yes, our voice, our actions can make a difference. He believed in our abilities to make significant changes in our communities.
Now that I met the Dalai Lama, I am going to share the compassion he has shared with us, the love he has shared with us in my community.
Your Holiness, that was a powerful and transformative dialogue that we shared with you in Dharmasala with some remarkable leaders from many difficult countries. We're joined here today with two of our youth leaders, Victoria and Sukaina, who you greeted. And we have Michael Gerson with us, who was also part of the trip from the Washington Post. We've talked a lot about your vision of the 21st century as being the century that is free from violent conflict. This is very much the USIP vision and mission as well. And it is how to find the tools, how to reach the people who will be the builders of peace for this next century. And we're very honored to have you here today with us to continue that dialogue and to continue that search. And we'll ask our youth leaders and Michael to make a few comments, but would like to first ask you to share some reflections with us.
Over 30 years, I have serious discussion with a scientist and also educationist. I want to share as one point. One occasion, some scientist mentioned, according to their experiment, it's a very, very young infant child, only 5-6 months old, language not yet developed. Then to such infant child showing some cartoon. One cartoon is two young children helping each other. Another cartoon, two children, little negative attitudes one another. So then response, the first cartoon, the infant child, I saw picture smiling, showing Saraswati joyfulness. The second cartoon show the same child, little bit negative sort of because of the resentment way, like that. So then the scientist concluded basic human nature is more compassionate. When I heard that, I really feel now there's real hope. And also, you see, according to our own experience, when you have, trouble, I think, except those infant child, otherwise there are 7 billion human beings, everyone has some kind of problems. So the experience of problem is our common experiences. Due to that problem, some sort of fear, some kind of, because of the anger, that's common experience. However, makes big differences. The mental attitude, like immune system. If your immune system strong, then the virus may not disturb you. Immune system weak, then small virus, you see, create a lot of trouble. Similarly, main mental attitude is some kind of stable, healthy, then this problem, you see, on the service level, yes, some disturbances, including anger, fear, but will not disturb the deeper level of your mind. So that's very helpful to maintain your physical health. So just, I think, I also mentioned just yesterday at the Heathrow Airport, London, some of my friends used to come, and then so some of my friends expressed you see, judging your face, it looks still early 60s-year-old. And he asked me, what's your secret? Then I respond him, that's my secret, I don't share with you. Then I told, oh, my life, you see, at the age 16, I lost my own freedom. Age 24, lost my own country. And a lot of sort of sad sort of, because of the situation. A lot of problems. After we become refugee. Also, you see, a lot of work for preservation of our own culture, language, these things. So many problems. Inside Tibet also, you see, a lot of problems. And Tibetan, inside Tibet, you see, they very much sort of hoping to me, put a lot of hope on me. So a lot of problem. But my mental level, quite peaceful. If may I say so, the peace of mind, or that kind of peace in spite of some problems, not I think because of me. Lamda sa kuputade.
That level of
not something like dullness way.
not out of dullness, someone who's not very discerning.
Oh, my mind quite sharp. Many of my friends, including many scientists, they really appreciate sharpness for my mind. So you see, but still, you see, I can keep deeper level peace, no matter these difficulties. So I told him, that's my secret. Peace of mind really makes differences. So according to my own experience, I always emphasize 7 billion human beings are same human being. I never consider I'm something special person. We are same. 7 billion human beings, mentally, emotionally, physically, we are same. So someone who can carry that kind of practice, then why not? Just 7 billion human beings can do that. So that, I think, confirmed our meeting Dharmasala. There's some individual story. Oh, really terrible, really desperate. Such desperate moment, you develop some sort of determination to do something for peace. Wonderful. So that also shows we all have the same potential, like that. So therefore, peace of mind is very, very useful for individual interest. That peaceful mind, more compassionate mind. Sometimes people feel compassion is something good for other, but not necessarily oneself. It's totally wrong. Result of compassion, or practice of compassion, first sort of, because of the beneficial goes to oneself. I often see mentioning one sort of my story. One time in Germany, your neighbor, you Italian. So I think Italian more sort of talkative like that. German, hardworking, no serious. In any way, one meeting, one late evening, quite dark. So when I passing through road, as my own sort of, because of the nature or habit. When I met some people on the street, I just usually just smiling. So when I'm passing through the street, one young lady coming there. So as usual, I smile. Show human brothers, sisters, spirit. Then that lady seems to develop some suspicion. Why? Why this is a person, something sort of strange sort of dress or strange sort of hat, and smiling? She may have felt, oh, there's something exploiting. So she sort of looks something uncomfortable feeling. So that shows my compassionate attitude. Myself, happy, feel easy. But the other person, that lady, get more suspicion. Like that. So the practice of compassion, first the benefit go to yourself. And constantly go that way, you really get peace of mind. And then, no matter how troublesome your life, but still you can keep peace of mind. That brings more healthier. And also, obviously, more peaceful mind, more compassionate mind, you get a lot of friends. We need friends. So therefore, like that, so therefore, you see, compassionate mind is really very, very helpful for health also, and creates friendship. Friendship entirely based on trust. Trust based on, if you show genuine sense of concern of their well-being, then trust comes.
Your Holiness, I would like to...
So I really admire, you see, those, these people. You see, at least, you see, you're really showing interest. So now with your interest, you should implement, as I mentioned earlier, you should carry action. Firstly, your own circle. Then, you see, one individual, you see, share with your own circle 10 people. Then each carry same sort of effort, then 100 people. Then 1,000 people, then 10,000 people. That's the way to change humanity.
Then to 7 billion people.
Yes.
I would like to invite Michael Gerson to come up and say a few comments. And I also want to note, for those who are watching us online or using Twitter, that it's hashtag Dalai Lama USIP. We're streaming over social media right now. Michael Gerson.
Your Holiness, thank you. Almost exactly 50 years ago, one of my heroes, Robert Kennedy, went to the University of Cape Town and said, each time a man stands up for an idea or acts to improve the lot of others and strikes out against injustice, he sends forth a tiny ripple of hope. And crossing each other from a million different centers of energy and daring, those ripples build a current which can sweep down the mightiest walls of oppression and resistance. It was an extraordinary experience for me to spend time with 28 centers of energy and daring. As a writer, I found their individual different stories from South Sudan and Nigeria and Afghanistan fascinating, but what they hold in common is most impressive. Each in one way or another has witnessed horrors. All have refused to be either bystanders or combatants. Instead, they have chosen to be instruments of healing, asserting a common humanity in the midst of conflict. During our time, we saw them develop a sense of community. Those who stand for principle, at least at the beginning, can be alone. They can work for many years in relative isolation. And it was moving to watch these men and women find the shelter of one another. But it was also inspiring to watch them be inspired by someone who has known their struggle. If they are ripples of hope, His Holiness is a boulder thrown into a pond. I don't think anyone will forget the generosity of his attention, the depth of his insight, his good humor, and his tireless focus. The participants were interested in the techniques of movement building, but the Dalai Lama's primary message was spiritual. How the practice of tolerance and compassion requires a healthy mind and body, how a genuine smile, not what you call a diplomatic smile, can express respect and build trust. It is hard to describe what happened before us, but for these young people, it was a graduate level seminar in loving kindness, a master class in being fully human. I'm involved in a lot of think tanks, sponsoring a lot of conferences, and they are fine in their own way. But this work by USIP was what real influence looks like. I saw the passing of wisdom and passion to the next generation of leaders, leaders of movements, even future leaders of their own countries. They came away changed, and I was privileged to witness it. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. And we have with us one of the youth leaders, but first Sukaina Haimia, who's here from Morocco, who joined us in Dharmasala.
Hello?
Yeah, it's on.
Hello, His Holiness. No.
Good.
Yeah, it's on. It's on.
Oh, yes.
Sukaina Hamia from Casablanca, Morocco, and I work at Sidi Moment Culture Center, a community center that was created by Mr. Boubkir Mazouz in 2007 in Sidi Moment, the largest slum in Morocco. In 2003 and 2007, the city of Casablanca was shaken by horrific terrorist attacks, and all the terrorist bombers came from Sidi Moment. Our center was created in 2007 to give the opportunity to at-risk kids and vulnerable youth to become good citizens through art, culture, education, and various trainings in peace building and conflict resolution. And then came my experience in Dharmasala to deepen our work. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let me share with you what I learned from my experience in Dharmasala. My experience in Dharmasala helped me look deeper in my soul, sparked new things that didn't exist before, and fed the flames that were burning already. By sharing my story with His Holiness the Dalai Lama and youth peacebuilders, I learned how to share things that terrify me so I can grow, experience, and flourish. I learned to be more honest with myself, to see the weakest, most fragile parts of myself, and not only acknowledging them, but owning them. I learned that we don't have to be afraid to peel back our layers and open ourselves to love, because we are all the same, members of the same human family, as His Holiness said. I learned that love, peace, gratitude, and compassion are not ready-made. It's not something we do, it's something we are. It's at the core of our existence. We are love, we are peace. This is why we are here, and it's what we all need and want. It's what brings us richness, meaning, and fulfillment to our lives. I learned that knowledge is only real when it's shared. And now I know that it's our duty as peace builders, young peace builders, and citizens of the world to build a generation of people who choose peace every day, and who choose peace again and again. Thank you.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Thank you, Sukaina. And I'd like to invite Victoria Ibuare, who is joining us from Nigeria, who was also with us in Dharmasala.
His Holiness, my name is Victoria Ibuare, and I come from Nigeria. In November 2013, I started an organization to help children from my community realize their true self-identity and work for peace. This was deeply inspired by my background, growing up from a violent community and living in that community as a vulnerable girl child. So our project is to teach children on self-identity, self-regulation, to help them realize that even though they come from violent communities, they have the choice to choose to work for peace, and also that they must make the choice to change the situation of things around them. Our time in Dharmasala was indeed an unforgettable experience for me, meeting His Holiness and learning from my fellow youth participants. His Holiness taught us that we, the youth, are the heart of the community, and we have a deep role to play to ensure that the world becomes peaceful and sustainable. It was deeply inspiring hearing the stories of youth from Afghanistan, Iraq, Nigeria, Kenya, Tunisia, Myanmar, and many more. These stories shows that we can continue to work for peace as young people, and we, the youth, have a role to play to encourage our peers to work for peace and to put an end to violent extremism. Peace is very possible. Peace is essential, like the word of Nancy Limburg. And I see it as a joint effort if we all come together to change the narrative. It will take we, starting from our community, starting from our family, starting from our workplace, using religion to promote peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Victoria.
Thank you. Wonderful.
Thank you, Victoria, Sukaina, and Michael. These were the voices that gave us so much hope in Dharmasala. And we would like to continue the conversation here today. I have a number of questions from people who would like to ask you. And I want to once again give you hashtag Dalai Lama USIP. But the first question is from Madeline from the State Department, and Marie from ActionAid had the same question, which is, as a self-proclaimed feminist, what message do you have for girls growing up in environments of violence and extremism? And what role do you see girls and women playing in countering violent extremism?
Since many years, I develop sort of view, and accordingly also I express many politics of the talk. I think perhaps many centuries ago, then human population quite small, and then some communist sort of ideology, they say original communism, no private ownership, like that. Everything, you see, they use by the group of, almost I think, a small group like that. So at that time, no concept of leadership. Then gradually, population increased and the farming system developed. Then the private poverty, ownership, this used to come. So then some disputes or some crimes, this will also happen. So then leadership come. At that time, no education, rule of education. So in order to become leadership, physical strength, that is the start, the male dominance. Even some religious tradition, also some kind of impact from that sort of society, from that kind of sort of concept, male dominance. Then education comes. Education brings more equal. So recent time is some very, very powerful sort of female leadership also to happen. Now, existing education not adequate. We must make more effort for warm-heartedness. So therefore, biologically, female have more sensitive about others' pain. That also some scientists, they through their investigation, through their research, they found. So therefore, at a time, we need special effort for promotion of compassion, love. Female should take more active role. So that's why some of my friends used to describe me feminist Dalai Lama. And so like that. So therefore, sometimes I feel about 200 different nations, if the majority of the leader of these nations, female, maybe less trouble, less violence. Of course, some ladies, females, are exceptional. So equally, some males also, some very compassionate. So average, I think, because the biological factor. So therefore, that's my view. Female should take more active, more effort to promote human love, human affection, compassion, like that. कुछ हो तो दे बारे. So mainly, as I always mentioning, now within the present circumstances, environment, very difficult. Like this very recent tragedy, and in the Arab Middle East, thousands of people killed. And in some cases in the name of religion. And many innocent people dying. Terrible, unthinkable. So then when we saw this situation, then each individual, cannot remain indifferent. So we have to think. And when we think seriously, these sad events. These also some kind of, we call, according to law of causality, these are result or symptom of certain cause. So now, fundamental sort of cause here, hatred, too much sort of self-centered attitude, we and they, lack of sense of oneness of human brothers, sisters, entire 7 billion human beings, actually human brothers, sisters. So we really need sense of oneness of 7 billion human beings. If we have that kind of sort of conviction, we are same human being, then practically also now each continent, their future depend on other. That's today's reality. Not like ancient time. Ancient time, more or less, self-sufficient and independence. Now, heavily interdependent, including modern global economy. Then also environment issue. So now global sort of warming also create more and more nature disaster. So now time comes. 7 billion human beings have to act. united way, collectively. Otherwise, this 21st century also can be a miserable century. So as I mentioned earlier, basic human nature is more compassionate. So we have the hope, you see, to build the genuine, universal love on the basis of the sense of oneness of 7 billion human beings through education, through awareness. So this is not serving God or Buddha, it's serving ourselves. 7 billion human beings. You see, a lot of problems which we are facing is actually our own creation. Nobody wants a problem. But because our mind too much biased, too much short-sighted, and biased, right? Like that. So these, through education, through awareness, we can reduce these things. So through that way, if you attempt, the younger generation, you attempt now, make effort now, I think end of this century could be more peaceful, or more compassionate. Recently I saw BBC broadcast that in Europe more and more people, you see, express their global citizens. They're wonderful. If you truly, you see, carry the global citizen, the spirit of a global citizen, all same. Like that. So therefore, I think circumstances compel us. Now we have to act as one humanity, like that. So practically and also morally, we have to think that line. So it is quite hopeful sign. So particularly our recent meeting, I really suppose I give some sort of encouragement or something to learn, to teach you, but actually I learn more. Wonderful, really wonderful, really wonderful. Yes, next question.
This builds on what you just said, but we have a number of questions from some of our media guests today, all of which are very related to the events in Orlando. And they're specifically asking, especially related to the role of religious hostility, religious ideology, especially in the situation where it's targeting our LGBT brothers and sisters. How do we transform that? How do we transform that?
Now my second commitment is promotion of religious harmony. Now over 57 years I live in India. So India, most populated democratic country, ancient country, and a lot of problems there. In spite of that, you see, I think over 2,000 years, the religious harmony there, beside homegrown different religious tradition. From outside, firstly, I think Zoroastrian, from ancient Persia. Then Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. One of the homegrown religions, Sikhism. Guru Nanak, his family background, Hindu, but he deliberately take pilgrimage to Mecca to show non-sectarian. So India, still the religious harmony there. So once you see such a big nation, India, still can maintain religious harmony, so why not rest of the world? So if we make attempt through awareness, I think we can reduce sectarian feeling. So this, firstly, education. Secondly, personal contact. Right? Contacts. Here you say, I notice Indian Muslim, same follower of Quran, and Malaysian Muslim, Indonesian Muslim, then Arab Muslim. You see the follower of, Muhammad, or same teaching. But say an Indian Muslim, I think from their childhood, they already take for granted there are different traditions, different religions. And in Malaysia and Singapore also, there are a large number of Chinese settled there. These majority of these Chinese Han people are Buddhist, and also quite big number Indians, Hindus, like that. So therefore, you see, that makes differences. In Arab countries, it's only one religion. Maybe some extent some Christian. Otherwise, you see, quite anyway, quite isolated. That also one factor. So personal contacts is something I think very important. One, through education and teaching all major world religious tradition. You see, I usually make three aspects of all these major religious tradition. One aspect is religion. That's, you see, teaching of love, forgiveness, tolerance, same. And I think we witness number of Christians dedicated their life serving other people, as well as some Muslims really dedicated well-being of others. So they actually, I think the Islam practitioner should not create any bloodshed. If person creates bloodshed, then reality no longer genuine practitioner of Islam. And the very meaning of jihad is not harming other, but combat your own destructive emotion. That's the real meaning of combat, jihad, like that. So therefore, all major religious tradition, as far as practice of compassion, forgiveness, tolerance is concerned, the same. Then another aspect is philosophy. There are big differences. Basically, theistic religion believe creator. Non-theistic religion is no concept of creator, rather self-creation. So big differences. But then we have to ask, what is the purpose of these different philosophies? Same. Try to bring conviction about basic quality or practice of love. So to some people, concept of God, creator, very, very powerful. God as our Father, our Creator. This very life created by God. We have direct link with God. God, what is the nature of God? It's infinite love. So we all, 7 million human beings, is son of children of such wonderful, compassionate Father. Wonderful sort of philosophical views. And then the non-theistic religions, ancient Indian tradition, old, I think, Indian tradition, Sankhyaism, Jainism, Buddhism, these three are non-believer about creator, God, creator. They also, you see, emphasis the action, karma. If you create good action means helping other, serving other, restrain harming other. You get benefit. So, a different emphasis, but same purpose, to bring more conviction about the value of compassion. So, no problem. So sometimes you say, I describe, of course, I mean, not disrespect, something like supermarket, religion, world religion, like supermarket. So there are a lot of different religion with different philosophical views. It brings satisfaction for variety of people. Just one religion, like one sort of market, only one item. Then people, I think customer may be less and less. There's plenty of sort of, because of the variety, then more people come, like that. So, because of the market, supermarket, like supermarket, religious supermarket. The differences are different religion with different philosophical views. Wonderful. The third aspect is cultural aspect. So now here, one example. I think 그거다. 뒤로 그듯이 그래. 좀 전에 전화 그듯이 뒤로 미시. 5th century BC. So at that time, you see the Mahavira, the Jain founder, come. Then after a few, I think 3-4 decades, Buddha come. So at that time, animals sort of actually sacrifice immense. So it even affect the farmer's economy. So such sort of time, such period, Mahavira, the founder of Jainism, come. So he's, because of the circumstances like that, so he special emphasis vegetarianism and don't kill any form of life. Wonderful. Then after that, Buddha come, more or less sort of the similar sort of a pattern like that. So cultural aspect, you see, existing circumstances of society sort of circumstances make some influence. So I think Judaism, under difficult circumstances, more hostile circumstances, you see, sometimes you see the emphasis eye to eye survey, like that, in order to survive your own sort of community, like that. Then Jesus Christ come. You see, more emphasis about patience. If someone hit here, show this, like that. So then Muhammad, the Arab, that area, more or less, nomad life. So, nomad life, you see, no proper sort of rule of law, like that. More sort of crimes. So he emphasizes Sharia law due to the circumstances. So that third aspect of all religion. Then in India, caste system is quite serious. So just recently, I met some group of parliament member. This is especially for caste, lower caste. So we have some discussions. So I told them like this. This is the social sort of system. At that time, feudal system. Raja is the supreme sort of lord, and then other sort of like slave. So this caste system, which is related with the feudal system. So feudal system changed. Now these certain sort of cultural aspect related with the feudal system, now time come must change. So for that, the politicians or even governments cannot do much. The spiritual leader now should come out, tell all the, according Hindu, the four castes, all come from same source, Brahma, creator. So like that. So you see, the spiritual leaders should come out, tell. Not content in their own temples, carry some rituals, some prayer. It's not sufficient now. Must come out, educate people. Now this caste system is because of the outdated. So I told them. So if they arrange such meeting, then I'm ready to come. I told them. So like that. So these, see, the cultural aspect, all these measures, even Buddhism, I think comparatively, you see, Buddha makes certain rules more democratic principle.
More egalitarian.
Oh, you see, about these monks, certain sort of action, about 100 action, all those action only carried by group of monk, no single monk, you see, have the authority. Buddha himself, exception. The follower of him, you see, he never sort of give authority to one single person. All sort of 100 sort of rules, action, like as
There are certain types of rituals that need to be performed as part of the monastic life, but no single person has the authority to kind of, preside the rite. The rite has to be performed collectively.
So that's why you see, of course now too long, that's why you see there's some, now some feminists from the West, you see they, they want me to give highest ordination for female, for nun. They have the impression I have final authority. Then I told them, no, I have no authority. Only, you see, there's some kind of international monks gathering and decide. Otherwise, you see, we have no.
Part of the problem with institution of the full ordination for women is that one requirement is that the senior administrator of the vow has to be a nun herself, and because of that difficulty in Tibet, the institution of the full ordination of women were never established. So in order to address that, there needs to be a much more collective consensus among the monastic establishment.
So as far as study is concerned, I have this sort of authority. I give sort of authority, gives authority. I actually appealed 40 years ago in India. The nunnery should start serious study. Now this year we are going to give highest Dharma.
Yeah, Dharma, which is equivalent to the doctorate in divinity.
So that I have the sort of the freedom. The other thing, I have no freedom. So therefore, like that. So there are some even sort of Buddhist sort of rule. Although it's Buddha give equality for female and male, but when you see we come together, the monk should be first. Even kasoda kelon lava shabayine golshawaj.
So there is a hierarchy, even though there is egalitarian kind of opportunity for both men and women for ordination, but because of the cultural influence, there is an hierarchy established. So even though there might be the nun may be senior, but in terms of hierarchy, the nun will be lower compared to a junior monk.
So these things, see, some occasion I suggested, now maybe time come, we need some modification or to change like that. So for example, my own case, Dalai Lama Institution, since 5th Dalai Lama Institution automatically become head of both temple and spirituality. Now that 2011, I totally retired, and not only myself retired, but also 4th century old tradition, Dalai Lama Institution automatically become head of both, is now ceased, voluntarily, happily, proudly. I feel these are some influence, some impact of feudal system. Now, feudal system outdated. So we must catch up the present reality or time. Okay.
Your Holiness, you're describing a process of change that is only successful in a more inclusive way that creates the bottom-up engagement in change, which is something that we learn a lot in how to build successful, sustained peace. But it also takes time. And you talked about actions you took 40 years ago, now coming to fruition. One of the questioners, and I think it's a question for many of our youth leaders, this one is from Linda Pace at the International Student Exchange. So how do you keep youth leaders who are essential for building peace into the next century from becoming discouraged at the pace of change? How do you encourage them to not become discouraged?
Like our own recent experience, you see, when you leave your own country individually or small group, when you meet other people from other country, you get more encouragement, more enthusiasm. So, you see, the worldwide the kasuta, draw or contact is, I think, very essential. Like your organization, you see, you can now the meeting, the group also need money. So, such as your organization, I think arrange a different place, different continent, more meeting, quite often meeting, if possible, annually. That, you see, gives them encouragement and a sense of community.
And we have a wonderful question from Mr. Oni, who is from Nigeria, who asks, how do we encourage religious leaders to play a constructive role in encouraging youth? And I remember in Dharmasala, you commented that many conferences happen around the world. Oftentimes, all they do is release doves and disturb the doves. So how do we take that? How do we turn that into the action that you are urging us to focus on?
Many years ago, since many years, I request Government of India, Indian government should organize international religious conference and not just mere conference. At the beginning, of course, leaders, make some statement, and then some scholars, some secondary of the leadership, spend more days and a serious discussion and exchange India's own experience, different religious tradition can live together. Then group the pilgrimage to different holy places within India. I started that practice since 1975. So when time available, I always make the pilgrimage within India, then also with this spirit, Jerusalem and Lahore and some of Fatima. I want, of course, take more time, but I want to share one my own experience. Fatima, one small statue of Mary. So we sit together, a few other sort of Christians and myself and some other. So some meditation, silent meditation. Then after finishing that short meditation, silent meditation, and when everybody now stand and leaving, and I turn to the beautiful Mary statue, then Mary statue smiling towards me. So you see, I'm Buddhist, and also you see, I'm a student of those Nalanda masters like Aryadeva, and also the Dignac, Baba Bega, and Dharmakirti. So a lot of sort of discussions about the concept of creator, these things. I'm a student, yet it is fact. About billion Christians there, about billion Muslims there, it's a fact. And also, you see, millions of people get immense inspiration, benefit from these traditions over last, I think, 2,000 years. And still millions of people get immense inspiration. And in the future also, these different religious tradition is sources of inner peace, like that. That's fact. So that's sufficient reason to respect, to admire. So I practice that. So therefore, I feel the Mary, you see, showed me some kind of appreciation about my effort. So I think India is an example. Different religious traditions live together 1,000 years. So now we have to work and make clear. I wish, you see, some European countries, some hardliner Muslims should invite and try to make friendship. Then reduce their sort of fear or some kind of distance feeling. So, only thing is, shake hand, meet, talk. And previously, in Kargil area, when we go to Ladakh by road, one sort of because of the Muslim community there. So previously, I was told, even you see some Muslim, you see, touch, you see, their clothes with one Buddhist, they wash. So they never sort of eat together. And recent decades, I passing through you see, this area, and I dine in eat together, and their meal is very delicious. So I found, you see, sit together and eat, you see, from their kitchen way, like that. So like that, you see, sometimes you see, people little bit sort of because of different faith, little distance, that creates some kasota, some distance, and that eventually creates some distrust or suspicion. So that nice word will not have much. Meet, touch each other, and meal together, and then make friends. Then we can discuss some of our differences, some of our similarities, like that. So remain, they themselves, I think a lot of problem here. Here, a lot of problem in Arab area, Middle East. Frankly speaking, I think response from America, from this nation, respond about September 11th event. I love President Bush. As a human being, wonderful person. Since our first meeting, we've become very close friends. So after Iraq crisis happened, another occasion, my meeting, then he's still president. I told him, I love you, I respect you, but some of your policy is concerned, I have some reservation. He smiled. I think the practical level, you see, American force, American sort of military power, yes, you see, easily you see, can crush, but American military power cannot sort of change others' mind or emotion. Only through friendship, through affection, then can change their mind. I think one example in Tibet case also, there's some hardliner Chinese officials, they believe the power of gun suppressed over 60 years cannot change Tibetan mind. Only affection, friendship. Okay, next question. Too long. Sorry.
So,
my answer always is too long. So I usually say, admit my sort of the because of the mistake or bad habit. That is once my weakness. That is once my mouth open, then blah 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 continuously. So that's my weakness. Sorry.
Well, this will be our final question. And this is from the Network for Religious and Traditional Peacemakers. And they're asking, what will you do to continue to support youth so they can become the peacemakers that help us have a 21st century free from violent conflict?
I think there's nothing sort of secret or nothing else. You see, discuss. And you see, disunity, what benefit? Remain distance, what benefit? Brings more fear. Discuss. Make friend. Make friendship on the basis of recognize this person, another human sister. And I'm one of the human brother. Out of 7 billion, we are same. And according to theistic religion, we all children of God. Think of these little differences here and there, they're minor. Basically, we are same. With this feeling, and try to implement as much as you can. So I think talk, seminar, not some one lecture, but group discussion. What is the benefit? Remain differences, distance. What is the benefit? No benefit. Eventually, if possible, one religious group go to Mars, one religious group go to Moon, and then we find some other galaxies, go this, and then okay, we fight here and go different planet. That's impossible. Yeah, we have to live on this small planet. So much better live harmoniously, happily, sense of brotherhood, sisterhood. So there's no other choice. You see, the other sort of follow of other tradition, impossible to eliminate. We have to live together. Many occasions, religious as an interfaith service, I frankly see expressing one religious. Now, for example, the Christian over 1 billion cannot eliminate over 1 billion Muslim. Either Muslim cannot eliminate that. We have to live together. That's reality. They're much happier. These bloodshed, these things. When we saw television, particularly the killing, and particularly those children, women, facing starvation. They are our brothers, our sisters. It's impossible because of the indifferent. We have to do. As a human being, as a social animal. They are happy, we also feel happy. There is suffering, we also feel suffering, uncomfortable. So no matter we can achieve or not, mentally, have to think seriously and make effort. Whether achieve or not, that's a different question. Everybody here, everybody here, and not only here, 7 million human beings, eventually have to die at the end of our life, and then reflect our our life. And then you made some sort of positive attempt, then you feel happy. If you spend your life more destructive way, then at that moment you really feel regret or unhappy. And then also, is a person who really carry life more compassionate, more sense of sort of helping other people, serving other people. Then, when that person passed away, then more people regret and also pray. So that's nice. Other hand, if you carry your life, bully other people, cheating other people, like that, then when death comes, the people who connected to you, who knows you, then they feel very happy. Now they're the troublemaker, no longer very happy. So what do you want? when you pass away, more people concern your death or happy? Well, what do you want? At least I want, you see, when I passed away, the more people remember me, and at least some prayer, and I feel happy. Some people, then when I time of my death, say, oh, now that 14 Dalai Lama troublemaker, now no longer, oh, how good, how nice.
Little possibility of that.
So thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, my brothers, sisters. We all have, no matter, you see, I mean, there are differences. Some can do more, some can do less, but we are part of the humanity. We are part of the human society. And then particularly America, I always consider this nation is leading nation of free world. So you can really make some significant contribution for better world. First, you yourself, your own place, you should create certain sort of positive thing. Then more other people, you see, getting more attractions or inspiration, like that. So please think seriously, and whatever way you can do, please implement. Please, because of into practice, right? Into action, like that. Okay.
Your Holiness.
Do you agree? Then, on the black African sister, one time in Kasa, Soweto in South Africa, I visit one African family. Then I expressed, now South Africa now already get democratic constitution, a democratic election, and Nelson Mandela is become the president. Wonderful. Now emotionally, it takes time. to change. Now the black people, you see, should develop self-confidence and work hard. Then one of the guests, you see, told me, oh, we black people, brain level inferior. I shocked. And I argue, no. If you ask brain specialist any differences of brain due to different color, the doctor or specialist, the scientist will say no differences. Then my own experience is in Tibet, sometimes some discriminations. Some hardliner Chinese officials is make some discrimination, consider Tibetan backward. But we, only question of opportunity. When opportunity comes, see, we also can be equal like that. So I explain. Then finally, that native African, they with sighs,
with deep sighs. Yeah.
And he responded to me, oh, now he convinced we are equal. At that moment, I felt tremendous of relief. At least I changed one person's mental attitude. The self-confidence is very essential. So please work hard. Some people say black people little bit of backward. So you also, you see, indirectly accepted we are backward. It's totally wrong. We are same human being. So therefore, with full self-confidence, work hard. That's very important. Okay.
Thank you, Your Holiness. Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to thank everybody for coming today. Our deepest gratitude for joining us today, Your Holiness. We have an audacious mission of envisioning a world without violent conflict. Sometimes people say this is crazy talk. You've given us hope and encouragement to continue to pursue this very bold and audacious vision, and we thank everybody here for your continuing support, engagement, and work on this pathway. I want to just conclude by noting that we're 100 days out from the International Day of Peace on September 21st, and I encourage everybody to join in taking action, moving toward the International Day of Peace, and making it every day. Thank you once again. Thank you.
Thank
you, everybody.
Now, International Day of Peace, I think should create whole 1 year.
Yes.
Then whole century. Whole decade. Then eventually whole century.
Yes. This is with your encouragement. Yes.
So we have a lot of work to do that without pay.
Thank you, everybody.